Hi everyone, welcome to Life Tips by Ning. In today's video, I'm sharing how to analyze a Bazi chart if your daily master is a Yin Metal called Xin in Chinese, looking like this, born in the summer season. Because Yin Metal Xin represents this delicate, precious metal, naturally out of all the available 5 elements and yin and yang versions of them, Yin Metal's natural friend is yang water, because imagine during the gold rush how people discover those gold nuggets in the riverbed. It uses yang water, which is kind of like a river or gushing movement, a big body of water with movement. It rushes away the sand and dirt so you can uncover the gold nuggets buried underneath. So that's kind of the image you can think of to explain why Yin Metal's natural friend is yang water. Unlike its counterpart, yang metal, which is like a raw, unrefined mineral rock, yang metal needs this fire to refine it so you can reveal the inner core, precious, valuable stuff. Whereas Yin metal's already this inner core thing. It doesn't need more fire to refine it. Actually, fire creates the risk of melting this precious metal because it's already fairly delicate and soft. So Yin metal naturally prefers water and tend to dislike too much fire in the bazi, because fire suppresses metal, right? So if you have too much fire showing up in your chart, that translates into this person having way too much external pressure. They tend to live so much in a restricted life, living within rules and boundaries, and really have a hard time exploring and expressing their own value system and their self. So unfortunately, because the dominant element for summer is fire, so summer-born Yin Metal people have this natural risk of having way too much fire in their bazi. That's why the number one preferred element that you want to see showing up in a summer-born Yin Metal person's bazi chart is yang water. Not only yang water balances super heated and hot and dry climate tendency during the summer season, but also because yang water is Yin Metal, our daily master's natural friend. So from those two perspectives, that explains why the common thread for summer birth month is yang water. You want to see it showing up in your bazi in a very strong way. What I mean by strong is typically you wanted to see it connected on the top row and bottom row. So let's say either position 5, 7, 8, you have a water type of earthly branch. Preferably you have another water type of element showing up in 1, 2, or 4. So that way, both the heavenly stem and earthly branch, they have the same qi connected. That makes your preferred element stronger to be more like useful to combat this natural heated, fiery type of summer dominant climate. And another perspective to make this yang water our preferred element strong is the positional placement. It's super important. You have to evaluate what's its neighbor. Does it help me or combat with me, which will reduce my qi? So for example, we know position number 6 is summer, is all fiery type of earthly branch. So if your water preferred guy show up either under 5 or 7, right? It's right next to a fire. Water and fire fight with each other. So it will actually reduce the strength of this preferred water element. So that's not as ideal as if the water show up away from an enemy type of element. So that's some techniques of how to evaluate if first, do I have this preferred element showing up in my chart? Great. Second, is it strong enough to be useful? If you check both boxes, I would say that bazi is in a fairly good starting point. So going back to each individual birth month, so birth month of May, which looks like this, like a Yin Fire type of earthly branch. Number one preferred element is yang water. We want it to show up in a very strong position. Yang wood is kind of a secondary preferred element. The reason is yang water's natural enemy is actually yang earth, because earth suppresses water, it controls its movement and make it die down. And with wood, it's a great partnership because yang wood is this tree loosening up the yang earth, so that this yang wood help this preferred focal point to fight away its number one risk enemy, which is earth. And in turn, this water grows and feeds into wood and support it. So they form a natural partnership to protect each other and give and take. And the next birth month is June. It looks like a Wu in Chinese, like earthly branch in position number 6. And Wu is a Yang Fire type of earthly branch. It's the same thing. You want Yang water showing up in a very strong condition. The reason Yin Earth is equally important is because in June, you have even a higher risk of this too much fire melting this Yin metal. So Yin Earth plays a supporter role, but Earth, Yin metal has a very high requirement for what type of earth to support it. If the earth is too dry, like a deserty type of material, it actually runs the risk of making this Yin metal too fragile. It doesn't do as a good of a job as growing and supporting metal. That's why yang water plays a role of making this key supporter role not too dry. You water and make this earth material moist enough to the point that it can do its job of supporting metal. So that's why yang water and yin earth are good. Both are equally important to support this precondition of too fragile and of a yin metal that it runs the risk of being melted by fire. So if your bazi has both showing up in a very strong condition, that would be a very good bazi chart for June birth month. Last but not least is our July birth month. It's a yin earth type of earthly branch called Wei. Because the dominant qi for Wei is already earth, and I just said earth supposed to support and grows metal, but if the earth is too dry, it won't do as good of a job. That's why yang water is primarily needed here. It makes this existing tool more effective in supporting the daily master. And because the earthy type of earthly branch, right? Earth and water naturally doesn't like too much earth to suppress it. And I just said water is super preferred. So you need this yang metal because metal grows and supports water. It kind of, yang metal plays a very important supporting role to make this yang water strong enough to combat the pre-deposited earth type of energy for this July birth month. So that's why it's kind of a pair supporting role. Metal supports and grows water to make this water strong enough to combat the earth dominant birth month. So that's how we analyze summer-born Yin metal. Overall, just to summarize, it just runs the risk of too dry and cracked earth. You really want to see strong enough water, especially yang water, showing up in your chart to make your bazi more balanced, not only from a hot and dry perspective, but also have this daily master's natural friend showing up. So thank you for watching, and next episode I'll share 3 case studies to further illustrate today's point. I will see you guys next time. Bye.